Broadcast Row for the Now generation. And now a special presentation from Broadcast Row. Broadcasting live from the greatest city in the world. Wake up. It's time, people, for your morning online gathering. Hosted by Mardell. It's the Wrestling Morning Show. And it starts now.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Wrestling Morning Show. It is 9:05 Eastern Standard Time. How's your morning going? Oh, slow reaction, right? Well, I'm here today, ladies and gentlemen, to hopefully have your morning suck a little bit less. Now, granted, they are going to suck. It's the morning. Morning in Latin is the sucks. Okay, so last night we had Monday Night Raw. Every time there is a Raw or SmackDown after a pay-per-view, what do we get? Rematches. And then we also get more rematches. And then we get a couple matches, and those participants become in tag teams. And then we get another, glorified rematch. Nothing usually goes on, but last night was a little bit different. AJ Styles was in the neighborhood. He appeared. But more importantly, we had Brock Lesnar come out, and he addresses Jinder Mahal. Normally, we think that it would be enough. But no, the highlight had to be kind of this mini invasion from SmackDown, and really with Shane O'Mac at Raw, he sets the tone. We're going to take you backstage where Kurt is on the phone. And why does everybody use their phone at work? It's been outlawed in so many corporations, using your personal phone, but this is different. This is the world of the WWE. So right now, Kurt is backstage, and of course, he is on the phone, and Shane O'Mac is there. Gets a nice reception. Let's go ahead and refresh your memory from about 12 hours ago.
It's the only time of the year that Raw goes head-to-head with SmackDown. This could be awesome. Yeah. Hey, let me call you back. Oh, my God. No way.
Kurt Angle.
O'Mac.
Bring it in.
How you doing, man?
Good, man. How you doing?
Good. You crazy son of a bitch. Last time I saw you, you were jumping off Hell in a Cell. How you doing, man? You okay?
I'm not feeling that great. I'm still occupational hazard. I'm healing. Hey, how about you last night? You did amazing after 11 years. You look great.
I had a blast.
Good.
And by the way, I want to thank you for the services of AJ Styles last night.
And tonight, you're welcome.
And tonight. And by the way, I would love to have AJ as a permanent.
Oh, you mean here permanent on Raw?
Yeah.
I don't think that's happening. But
He is a once in a generation. I mean, if
it's true.
To be honest with you, I don't think you guys would stand a chance without AJ.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Oh, I don't mean to offend you. I mean, you do great as a commissioner and all, but, sometimes the SmackDown talent doesn't even out. I mean, when you look at Raw, you have guys like Brock Lesnar, Braun Strowman, Kane, whereas SmackDown, after AJ, it's, Nakamura, Bobby Roode, Dolph Ziggler, 3 members of New Day. I hope you're not too embarrassed when Raw beats you.
You mean kind of like last year? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, SmackDown defeated Raw.
Well, I was the general manager last year.
That's true, and and congratulations on that. And you're doing a great job at GM, and I know you're all gung-ho for Survivor Series. But I just want to let you know that, Kurt, I think you're a little bit out of line.
Well, I didn't mean to insult you.
Oh, no, I'm not insulted, and I don't mean to insult you.
Yeah. Well, why did you come here?
Well, I came here to let you know specifically that SmackDown is going to annihilate your precious Raw. I can see it right now. In Twitter speak, #UnderSiege.
Okay.
You like that?
All right, that's the way it's going to be.
Oh, that's the way it's going to be.
All right. I see you at Survivor Series.
Good to see you. Enjoy the rest of the show, and I'll catch up with you later.
Enjoy my show.
I will.
All right, thanks, man.
Later, Kurt.
Okay, some of the verbiage was a little bit awkward, but okay. A little bit subtle. And by the way, you start to hint a little bit of the departure of Shane O'Mac being, the good McMahon. Remember, he was never the good McMahon until his return. He was the good McMahon who had the conscience. All right, so they hint at it a little bit. But of course, we fast forward to later on in the program. So now we have Kurt in the ring. This is the last segment of Monday Night Raw.
On behalf of the Raw Superstars, I can tell you that we cannot wait for Survivor Series. It's the only time during the year that Raw goes head-to-head with SmackDown. Raw champions versus SmackDown champions. Our 5 best female superstars versus their 5 best female superstars. And same with the men. And speaking of men, I have her 5 best men right now, and I'm about to announce them. The first is going to be...
Here we go. Wait just a minute. Oh, we saw Shane O'Mac, the commissioner for SmackDown Live here earlier tonight.
Okay, so he's expecting Shane to come out. And virtually what has happened is the entire roster, and not the entire roster, some of the most notable ones who were not there were Kevin Owens, Jinder Mahal, Sami Zayn, but they had Nakamura, AJ, who literally just wrestled earlier. And Rusev really steals the show. They go backstage, they attacked mostly the mid-carders there, Apollo and Titus, and they attacked Elias, and we saw Carl Anderson back there. They even had the females with them as well. Bobby Roode, by the way, was there. So this whole thing is starting to become a little bit real. I mean, obviously it was staged for the most part. And actually the sign was when they pretty much went up the ramp and then they entered into the room order of the men were different, which makes me believe that obviously this was taped earlier in the day, which is fine. So the very, very end of the segment, Angle is getting escorted. This is such a heel move, by the way, when it comes to Shane O'Mac. So now they're in the ring. And almost Shane has Corbin and Rusev almost as security and bodyguards in there.
Kurt Angle has to be so angry and yet so embarrassed at the same time.
This crowd is completely shocked, by the way, of what went on. And this was fun, though. This was unexpected.
At Survivor Series, I want you to bring your gold medal, what's left of your Raw roster, and we're all going to finish what we started. Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
And that sound, of course, was the SmackDown Blue Brand roster. This kind of comes out of nowhere with Shane kind of firing the first shot. This comes out of nowhere with him taking the heel tone in this, which is fine. Angle, Shane, about the same age. The cherry on top for me, if these two guys actually went at it, this would be awesome. This would be fun. This would be believable. That's the cherry on top. Something we rarely ever see. These two opposing sides and their leaders, their figureheads, go one-on-one. Stephanie may or may not be part of this. I doubt she'll make her return. Daniel Bryan will obviously have his input and his say, but he cannot wrestle. I think with this little change in Shane O'Mac, now obviously always the clear-headed, purely good Daniel Bryan will probably question him on SmackDown later on tonight. We talked about this as soon as we opened the show that typically there's nothing going on. The Raw or SmackDown after a pay-per-view, this is actually somewhat exciting. Posted a lot of questions and comments on Twitter about this. By the way, it was probably the most over I've seen Rusev in months. That's just a fact. He was like almost leading the charge. I even asked this question. Of course there's going to be a retaliation tonight on SmackDown. You would pop the most if Kurt attacks Shane, Stephanie shows up, Brock is there with Raw, or SmackDown is held hostage or taken over by Raw. Interesting options. We'll let you know the answers very soon. And Kayfabe Rebel on Twitter says he would love to see Daniel Bryan attack Shane. That was brilliant, by the way. Big ups to Kayfabe Rebel. That's Rebel Kelly. That's a great idea, if that would happen. There obviously will be some words between Daniel Bryan and Shane tonight on SmackDown. Of course, Raw opens up with Kurt Angle. Everything we just discussed happened throughout the 3-hour show, with Shane visiting him in the middle. Of course, at the very end, the last segment is when the attack came from the Blue Brand. Now, this is how they open the show. More Kurt Angle. He's been a very busy man the last couple days. Let's go ahead and listen to Kurt. This is important because he's announcing officially what's going on for Survivor Series. Also, pay attention to the pronunciation of the WWE champion.
The performance befitting of a WWE Hall of Famer and Olympic gold medalist for sure.
You know, every story has a beginning, middle, and an end. And last night, I wrote a new chapter. When I was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, I didn't think things could get better. And then last night at TLC, when I competed in a WWE ring for the first time in 11 years, man, it was like a dream come true. But as a famous man once said, that was last night, this is tonight. Up next, Survivor Series. Now, Survivor Series holds a special place in my heart because I debuted 18 years ago at Survivor Series. And this year's Survivor Series, again, will be Raw versus SmackDown. Their best versus our champions versus their champions. And as of now, this is the lineup. The Raw Women's Champion, Alexa Bliss, will take on the SmackDown Women's Champion, Natalya. Then the Intercontinental Champion, The Miz. He will take on the U.S. Champion, Baron Corbin. The Raw Tag Team Champions, Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, will take on the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Usos. And already slated for the pay-per-view, WWE Champion Jinder Mahal will take on the Universal Champion Brock Lesnar.
He got a slight laugh on the Mahal.
Brock Lesnar and his advocate Paul Heyman will be here later on tonight.
All right, so pretty much we're going to hear from The Miz who comes out. Gives a pretty damn good promo, by the way.
Survivor Series is the elimination match, 5-on-5. 5 versus 5. Except this year, there will not only be one match, there will be 2 elimination matches. A men's match and a women's match. Now, as Raw General Manager, I'm gonna make sure my show is the most dominant show in the WWE. Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Kurt Angle just told us.
Essentially, we're going to hear from Miz's promo. We're still in the very opening segment of Raw last night.
On Baron Corbin, the United States champion from SmackDown Live.
Nice heat from Mr. Mizan.
I am so sick of hearing your voice. Do you even realize what you're saying? Do you think this is our show? This is my show. You're sitting there saying that you're trying to make Raw as successful as possible. Is that what you think you did last night when you stepped in, saved the show? Please, when Roman went down, you should have made Dean and Seth fight 2-on-5. How many times have we heard Dean Ambrose say that, we can take on any number of superstars? You should have done what was right and stayed out of it, but you abused your power so you could have one last run in the spotlight. Oh, did you like that spotlight? Let me make you understand something, Kurt. This isn't about you. You don't deserve to be in that WWE ring as a superstar or a general manager, and you should resign immediately.
Well, that's not going to happen, Miz. Listen, I'm just going to go to my office.
Oh, no. You're not going to go anywhere.
Okay, so that's the gist of what they're talking about now. They surround him in Shield style, and it seems like Miz has a personal problem now with good old Kurt Angle. So those are the matches, ladies and gentlemen, that have been announced as Kurt kind of announced it. We'll go over them one more time for you. Brock versus Jinder Mahal. We're going to talk about this coming up very soon. This is why I'm going to say right now, I believe Jinder is going to beat Brock Lesnar. We also have the women's champion, Alexa, versus the SmackDown champion, Natalya. Dean and Seth are going to take on the Usos. I think we're all excited about that. The Miz will take on Baron Corbin. We also have Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Alicia. They make up Team Raw versus Team SmackDown. Still 2 more slots for Team Raw. We don't know who's going to represent Team SmackDown. And that's obviously the women's elimination match. And we're still yet to be determined Raw versus Team SmackDown. I wonder if this is where the John Cena free agency could possibly play in. I don't want to bring him up because, you know, there's life after Cena, and he's doing his own thing. But, man, what a wild card. What a wild card if he would actually show up. That would be interesting. That's another thing that would make me pop for my Twitter poll question that I already asked. So after that opening promo from The Miz, they, like I said, they surround him. Now we have a match because Dean and Seth are here to save the day. And of course, AJ Styles making a nice appearance on Monday Night Raw last night. This was phenomenal. This took up pretty much well over 30 minutes. I think closer to 40. I could be wrong. It was just great wrestling. That's what it was. Love them or hate them. When Miz wrestles, and of course he's limited on his ability. I'm a huge fan of The Miz. Could be the best natural heel. And I put him and Kevin Owens up there of anybody on any brand, on any roster, any promotion. He knows how to wrestle as a heel inside the ring. We enjoy him. You don't get any better than Cesaro. You don't get any better than Sheamus. You don't get any better than Dean and Seth. And then, of course, you have AJ Styles. And it made me ponder and think the entire time, has anybody at the age of 40 wrestled better than him? And, of course, I started to think about this, and this is a question I would love for you guys to chime in. It's 844-627-3352. Call, be part of the show, or text. Shoot me a text. And, of course, we're on Twitter at the Live Morning Show. Who is better than AJ Styles at the age of 40? I start racking my brain. Okay, we know Shawn wrestled in his 40s. Of course, Nature Boy, well, wrestled to almost, he was 60. Was in his heyday in his 40s. I mean, those two guys I could think of course, phenomenal. But who is better than AJ Styles wrestling in their 40s? I'd also put Kurt Angle up there, if you remember. Still performing at a high level when he was with TNA. Brock, I believe, is 39 years old. As good as anyone. No, Brock is 40. Brock is 40 years old. He turned 40 over the summer. Cena is 40. I believe Randy Orton's 38. I mean, The Rock could still go. We saw him wrestle at certain manias and certain events. This was all done when he was in his, I would think, at 40. Maybe a little bit older. So all those guys I mentioned to you, and of course we'll throw Triple H in there, of course we'll throw Undertaker in there. What I'm talking about is that in-ring ability. Pretty much everybody I mentioned could wrestle. But then you got to separate that with true wrestling and the spots and the high flying and the intensity. If I put a mask, if I put a lucha mask on AJ, and I've never saw him, I would think he'd be 24 years old. I've never seen anybody perform as great as AJ Styles for his age. So not only is he probably the best 40-year-old wrestler I've ever seen, he's the best wrestler in the world at age 40. Is that a compliment to him, or is that a sad comment for the rest of wrestling? That's an interesting question. That's a debate we need to have. One of the other great highlights that happened last night on Monday Night Raw, the return of Brock Lesnar to address Jinder Mahal's call-out of him. Now, some people are snickering. Jinder Mahal, Brock Lesnar, are you serious? Do we really want to see this? Well, we're going to play a promo from the great Paul Heyman. Phenomenal, by the way. There are times when we see Paul on television a couple times in a row. It seems to be a redundant type of promo. Still the greatest to ever touch a microphone, maybe in the history of wrestling. Not that I need to put him over. Let's go ahead and refresh your memory on this unbelievable promo by Paulie.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman, and I am the advocate for the reigning, defending, undisputed, Universal Champion, Brock Lesnar! You know what's funny? The way you all react to the manner in which I introduce my client, Brock Lesnar. Because someone has a problem with the word undisputed. Someone wants to dispute the fact that Brock Lesnar is the champion in World Wrestling Entertainment. This same someone who's over on SmackDown Live has barely survived the title challenge of Randy Orton. This same someone has barely survived the title challenge of Shinsuke Nakamura. This same someone is now sitting up at night, plotting and planning, trying to figure out how to barely survive the potential title challenge of AJ Styles. Meanwhile, right over here on the flagship show, Monday Night Raw, Brock Lesnar has eaten through the single most stacked heavyweight division in the history of WWE. That fact is undisputed. You know what else is undisputed? That we live in the age of trash talking. Everybody wants to trash talk. Everybody wants to hurl insults. Everybody wants to not give props where props are due. Everyone wants to run down their opponent. Everyone wants to hurl insults at their opponent's families. Everyone wants to be the king of the trash talk, brand their opponents losers instead of box office attractions. You know what else is undisputed? That the king of the trash talk is the advocate with the mic in his hand right now. And yet, despite the fact that you clamored for me to trash talk, I don't trash talk Brock Lesnar's opponents, and I'll tell you why. Because any man deemed worthy of stepping into the ring to fight Brock Lesnar must be a real man, must have a whole lot of merit going on behind him. I didn't trash talk Goldberg. I praised Goldberg, and rightfully so. I didn't trash talk Samoa Joe. I praised Samoa Joe, and rightfully so. I didn't trash talk Braun Strowman. I praised Braun Strowman, and oh my God, rightfully so. But you, Jinder Mahal, the make-believe Maharaja with the sing-along brothers standing behind you doing my shtick of introducing you? Are you kidding me? You're not Brock Lesnar's equal. You're not Brock Lesnar's contemporary. You're not Brock Lesnar's counterpart on SmackDown Live. You're not even a worthy pretender to the throne of being WWE Champion. When we think of WWE champions, we think of Bruno Sammartino, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage, Ric Flair, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, John Cena, and ladies and gentlemen, my client, Brock Lesnar. We don't think of Jinder Mahal, a consolation prize champion offered to SmackDown Live when Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan realized they got the shaft in the superstar shakeup. And please don't think my client is waving the flag of Monday Night Raw, marching into Survivor Series to defend the honor of Raw over SmackDown in the name of brand supremacy. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no battle for brand supremacy. Any brand that brags Brock Lesnar, say that 3 times fast. The brand that brags Brock Lesnar is the #1 brand. The brand that brags Brock Lesnar is the supreme brand. The brand that brags Brock Lesnar is the flagship brand with the #1 champion, the place to be in World Wrestling Entertainment. That's undisputed. And because Jinder Mahal disputes that fact, Jinder Mahal, at Survivor Series, you're going to Suplex City. Oh, but I got even worse news for Jinder Mahal, because that's where your night only begins. Because the last time a SmackDown superstar stepped into this ring to fight the beast, Brock Lesnar, they had to stop the match. Everyone was in shock. The locker room was in an uproar, even the Monday Night Raw locker room. Why? Because on that night, my client, Brock Lesnar, violated every single rule, regulation, moral, ethic, parameter, and boundary of the PG era. So, Jinder Mahal, your challenge is hereby accepted. Your challenge is hereby accepted by the undisputed beast. Your challenge is accepted by the undisputed conqueror. Your challenge is accepted by the undisputed #1 champion in WWE. Your challenge is accepted by the reigning, defending, undisputed Universal Champion, Brock Lesnar!
Oh boy.
I mean, that was incredible. Incredible. Good job, Paul E. We missed you guys. I speak on behalf of all the fans out there. No, I don't. I would never do that. But it was great to see him. Now, what we're going to do right now, I also got to remind you guys, as I got all excited about Paul coming back and the whole Blue Brand showing up, just remember Dean Southern they go over. Phenomenal forearm on Cesaro, and he gets the pin. That was the first match. It lasted a long time. And, we started getting carried away. Remember, if you think there was somebody out there from the age of 40 and beyond that actually could wrestle better than AJ Styles, please, we can have a nice conversation as adults. Why not? The number is 844-627-3352. That is 844-627-3352. I want to remind you guys we do the show every Tuesday and Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern. I also want to thank the people that I conversate with on Twitter. If you follow us, we follow you. Thank you. It's our own little wrestling culture on Twitter. But we like to bring that wrestling culture right here. All information about the show is on the WrestlingMorningShow.com. And, of course, we always stream live on Twitter, on our Twitter handle. It's probably where you're listening to the program, at Live Morning Show. Facebook, The Wrestling Morning Show. And when this show gets done, give me about an hour, maybe 90 minutes. We put it up in podcast form, available on iTunes, Google Play, Spreaker, Stitcher, SoundCloud, YouTube, and iHeartRadio. Okay, so coming up very soon, I'm going to talk about Brock Lesnar. I'm going to talk about Jinder Mahal. I'm going to talk about Jinder going over at Survivor Series. Yes, of course, there's a reason here. And I'm going to explain it. We're going to take a very small break and come back. It's the Wrestling Morning Show. This is Mardell, your host. Be back in a second.
Live on Broadcast Row, it's the Wrestling Morning Show. The Wrestling Morning Show with Mardell. Live on Broadcast Row.
Once again, thank you for joining us on this wonderful 24th day of October. Where are you guys at? What part of the country? What part of the world? It's starting to get chilly in my neck of the woods. Can you imagine that most of you guys will be participating in Halloween coming up this weekend? Because pretty much everybody celebrates Halloween, usually the Saturday before Halloween, unless Halloween would fall on a Friday or Saturday. So that should be fun. I may ask some of the listeners and some of the followers out there, post some of your best Halloween costumes if you're going to dress up as a wrestler. If you're not, I don't care. What I want to talk about now is why, and maybe even how, Jinder will go over at Survivor Series. Okay, so this may not be a very popular thing I'm about to say, but I think it's reality. After Survivor Series, they're going to India. Okay, well, really, there are no titles on the line. It's not like he's going to lose his title. We understand that, correct? But going to India, defeating somebody who is recognized around the world like Brock Lesnar. This is huge for Jinder Mahal. This is huge for the WWE. This is huge for viewership in India. And of course, the 1.3 billion people that Jinder represents. So I think it's very important that Jinder wins. Now, how is he going to win? Not to mention everybody who's looking at this on paper, everybody who is watching the promo by Paul E. It's Brock Lesnar. Rarely does anybody beat Brock Lesnar. Jinder Mahal has barely retained his titles against Randy Orton and Shinsuke Nakamura. I think this time that streak will continue. Now, will Jinder do this by himself? Absolutely not. Can the Singh brothers help out the cause? Absolutely. I do believe this is where we see that great shenanigans that could happen, as they always do. Could this be where Roman Reigns strikes, if he's possibly healthy enough to come back? He's just the returned Samoa Joe. I am a firm believer that when it's the Royal Rumble, it's going to be AJ versus Jinder. And I do believe AJ will go over, setting up a Royal Rumble where Shinsuke Nakamura is going to win. Ultimately, these two great wrestlers, these two icons that they teased during Money in the Bank, will face off with each other. Now, who could spoil this situation for Brock Lesnar? I thought maybe Roman Reigns. Now I think maybe, could it be even John Cena? Could it be Samoa Joe? There are a lot of people that are gunning for Brock Lesnar. Braun Strowman. We'd like to see that again. So, not so much that anybody really cares about Jinder Mahal. They care more about facing Brock Lesnar. And in return, Jinder will go over, stun the world. This will be the headlines everywhere. We are used to Brock Lesnar winning. So there's not a big surprise. There's not a big shock. There's not a big awe. I have not put the pieces together, my friends. But I will. But I'm going to go on record. And I can't believe I'm saying this. Since, let's face it, we're on the 24th right now. We have a full 4 weeks. It's on November 19th. Survivor Series. Booker T's hometown, Houston, Texas, the Toyota Center. Should be rocking. So I am a firm believer. As of now, Jinder goes over. Should be fun. Last night, probably one of the best performers of any brand. And yes, I'm talking about Alexa Bliss. She's inside the ring, and she has, of course, some choice words for her rival, Miss Mickie James. Let's refresh in your memory.
Last night, I defeated future Hall of Famer, 6-time women's champion, and leader of the old folks' home, Mickie James. And now I can finally put Mickie right where she belongs, in the past. Let's move on to Survivor Series, the only night a year Raw faces SmackDown. And this year, you all get to witness your Raw Women's Champion, Alexa Bliss, dismantle SmackDown Women's Champion, Cat Lady herself, Natalya. And Natty, there may be 2 brands, but at Survivor Series, I'm gonna remind you and everyone else that there's only one goddess. And you know what? I wasn't even gonna really bring this up with you people, but the fact that I had the performance of my career at TLC, saying that I feel unappreciated would be a huge understatement. Week after week, I get 0 respect. Yet, AJ Styles and Finn Balor can stand in the middle of the ring, gazing into each other's eyes for, 10 minutes, and the entire arena chanted, "This is awesome." It's like you people just hand out chants like Halloween candy. Where's my chant? Where's my appreciation? Is it because I'm not old? Is it because I don't have a 3-year-old son at home like Mickie James? You know what it is? Just like Mickie James, all you people are jealous of me. Plain and simple. But you know what? We're gonna put the jealousy aside for a second and we're gonna try something. Now, I know we're in the Midwest, which means I'm gonna have to spell everything out for you. You're booing because you know it's true. What's gonna happen is I'm gonna say a chant and you're gonna say it back to me like the sheep you are. You ready? Listen up. The chant is, "You deserve it." Your turn. You deserve it. I'm sorry. Did I not go slow enough for you people? I deserve appreciation. I'm the goddess of WWE, and you will chant, "You deserve it" to me.
Is Alexa ever going to learn any couth? And there is Mickie James. The woman fought valiantly last night against Alexa Bliss, only to be traded to another show of sore sportsmanship by the Raw Women's Champion.
It appears that Mickie James may not be finished with the goddess Alexa Bliss. Mickie put up a hell of a fight last night, that's for sure.
Mickey's dressed for the party as well, guys.
I don't think she's out here to celebrate Alexa, but...
Oh, definitely not. Call that one, Cole. Here we go.
Alexa Bliss planted by Mickie James.
Nice beatdown by Mickie James. I actually like this rivalry a lot. I don't want the feud to end. Of course, they're going to take a small break in the action, as they're going to probably start focusing a little bit on Alexa and Natalya for Survivor Series. It's going to be fun to see how they build this. Will this be concentrated every single episode for Survivor Series? Or will the undertones and some of the B-plots concern some of the rivalries that are going on right now? I'm going to have fun with this. It's going to be fun for the next 3.5 weeks. Hopefully you could agree on this. The number is 844-627-3352. 844-627-3352. It's our call line and our text line. You have an opinion? Share it with us. Please share it with us in this fine morning, wherever you're at. Some of you guys are just getting out of bed if you're listening. Some of you may be grabbing that coffee before you head out of the house. You might be on the go. Now, when the show goes off the air, it goes to podcast form, available on iTunes, Google Play, Spreaker, Stitcher, SoundCloud, YouTube, and iHeartRadio. So hopefully you'll listen to that. Also, subscribe to the podcast, available on iTunes and Google Play. It means a lot. It takes 2 seconds. Just find and subscribe it. We talked earlier in the show about AJ Styles being not only the very best wrestler, maybe in the world, but nobody I've ever seen has wrestled at 40 years old like AJ Styles. Nobody. I've asked you guys, chime in. Let me know. Am I wrong on this? Please. And then we have a man who's 50 years old in Kane. He's performing unbelievable for 50 years old. It's unreal. As you know, Kane was added last minute for TLC. I don't know how much of that was planned, and of course, I don't think it was. I think it was mostly because the roster itself is sick. So Kane is here. He's in the ring. Makes a nice appearance here at Monday Night Raw. It's refreshing your memory as he's looking for a little competition.
Through hellfire and brimstone, I heard the stories. How he wanted competition, how he roared, how he rampaged, how he walked away from an ambulance crash, how he tossed Big Show through a steel cage, how he broke Roman Reigns time and time again. They called him a monster among men. His name was Braun Strowman. I liked what I heard, but I had to see it for myself. And when I did, what I saw was a pile of trash. 385 pounds of nasty, stinking human refuse. So last night, I put Braun Strowman where he belonged, in the back of a garbage truck. And as the gears grinded and the hydraulics cracked, devouring Strowman in one mechanical gulp, I was able to look into his eyes. And in his eyes, I saw fear that no man had ever been able to instill in him before. And when Braun Strowman looked at me, he saw the truth. I am and will always be Raw's only monster. And now with
Braun gone. I want competition. Or else.
Well, first of all, it's great to see him. And of course, Finn Balor comes out. I can only imagine, mind you, this has been 10 months. 10 months since we've seen Kane. He's a little busy right now. He's running for mayor of Knox County in Tennessee. Now, 2018, I believe May 1st, 2018 is the actual election, as I've heard to research this online. So best of luck to him. Hopefully he wins. That would be awesome. Finn Balor is out there, and we're wondering why Finn Balor, but this whole demon thing, okay, they might have a point with this. We don't know how long Bray's going to be out, but Kane wins. Kane wins on a chokeslam, and he beats Finn Balor clean. There you go. And of course, maybe Finn will come back and dig deep and become that demon and take on Kane. We don't know. Could be just a placeholder until Bray comes back. Asuka makes her Raw debut last night in a rematch. There we go. The common trend is rematches. Even though Raw was obviously different if you watched last night. Emma looked good. She looked very good. Very good wrestler. We knew going in there that Emma didn't stand a chance. So Asuka wins. Then we see the females backstage. They're talking about being the captain for the Raw brand. And I have to tell you about Alicia Fox. I've been a fan of hers. And I've always known she could wrestle and she could go. And she's very unique. Never had that gimmick. I would say about a year and a half ago, when she, right before she made a run with the Bellas, it was this crazy gimmick she was going on to. And it happened a couple weeks and it kind of disappeared. Now it's back. And she even has her own t-shirt, Crazy Like a Fox. And I'm hoping this gimmick continues. Any gimmick that's going to get her over, I wish her the best. She's been doing this a very long time. 8 to 10 years or so. She deserves it. There's so many great wrestlers out there, and they just don't find that one lightning that kind of gets her to, gets them to that next level. And maybe this is the persona. It takes a while. Now she's more mature. Now, granted, even though she's been doing this a while, there's a level of maturity that happens as you get older. She's 31 years old. 31. Doing this for about 10 years. Actually, probably 11 years. You remember she started off, I believe, as the wedding planner for Edge and Vicky Guerrero's wedding. That's how we first discovered her. So she's 2021 when she started. It's unbelievable. So I wish her the best. She's got her nice little t-shirt. I like this crazy gimmick. Anything that could catch on, because she's very athletic. We don't give her enough credit. When you're an enhancement woman, not an enhanced woman, but an enhancement woman, I mean, there comes a time where you may think you're never going to get to that level. Not to mention the persona that people who actually watch are like, okay, well, she sucks. She's a jobber. You could easily break out from that. Maybe not the best example of it. Let's go back and look at 3MB. Heath Slater has an unbelievable gimmick that he's got kids. He's got a t-shirt. Drew McIntyre, well, he's a champion now. And of course, Jinder Mahal. Some of those people had to leave and come back. You never know with a quick gimmick change. Things can happen for you. Look at Breezango and what's going on with that. And of course, there's numerous examples. Austin was the ringmaster, for God's sakes. There you go. So I wish Alicia Fox the best. She actually ends up wrestling Sasha and Bayley. This is going to be for the team captain. Alicia holds her own and wins. I was very happy to see that. Elias, who I love, by the way. And I love him because it's a very slow process to get all that heat on him. Right now, he's getting tangled with Jason Jordan. And I enjoy it. A true heel versus kind of a question mark, but obviously they're pushing him as a face, which is fine. And they actually wrestle. We kind of discover that Elias could wrestle. By the way, if you're listening to this program and you think Jason Jordan cannot wrestle, you just, I don't know. Are you watching when he's on? He's phenomenal. We just kind of flesh out his gimmick or well, unfortunately, he doesn't really have one besides being the son of Kurt Angle. But Elias, I'm enjoying this. But now it's time to take it to the next level. And Elias could go. So we have two pretty good competitors inside that ring. And just to draw more heat, at the very end, they're outside the ring. And if you remember Booker T's commentary, he's just out of control. Even Corey Graves is literally off script, completely laughing at Booker T. And I love Booker T to death. Elias takes a guitar and just smashes it all over Jason Jordan. There you go. Of course, there's a disqualification. I kind of like this rivalry. I kind of like this natural heat that Elias is getting, depending obviously on what market he's in. It's amazing, but toward the end of the show, the Cruiserweights, Enzo Amore. Now, Enzo has a vocal situation. He probably does. Happens to even the greats. We have Team Lucha taking on the Zo Train. The Zo Train, of course, compiled of Enzo Amore, Daivari, Drew Gulak, Tony Nese, Noam Dar, maybe the best name in the Cruiserweights, Gran Matilak, Rich Swann, Cedric Alexander, Mustafa Ali, and Kalisto for Team Lucha. This was kind of a pointless match. Pointless, but Kalisto gets the pin on Enzo with the Salina del Sol. They build a 5-on-5, and they really didn't give him a lot of time for anyone to really showcase what they're about. But I have to admit, they did some comedy with Drew Gulak, and it was actually quite funny. Yes, it was. It was actually enjoyable, as Gulak actually read verbatim how I'm sure it was printed out Enzo's opening monologue, which is his catchphrase, which everyone chimes along with. And that was actually relatively funny. But let's go back to the match. It's pretty much everybody had opportunity for 1-2 spots to showcase. We go back to that same situation where we have this Cruiserweight division. We don't know anybody. Yes, we all know their names. We could probably tell you their finishing moves. But why should we care about them? That's continuing on that problem I have with the Cruiserweights. The best part is we know Enzo. We know his story. We know what he's about. Now, they just lost Neville. Austin Aries is out. Is Kalisto the hero that's going up against this villain we know as Enzo? Can people get behind this? This is also the same man who won the U.S. title. It was a short run, but he still won. There must be a lot of people who really enjoy Kalisto backstage. The number is 844-627-3352. You're listening to the Wrestling Morning Show. Don't forget to go on Twitter at Live Morning Show. A lot of our Twitter poll questions are still out there. You could answer these questions. We kind of gauge the perspective of all the wrestling fans from around the country and, of course, the world. And if you're in Canada, the UK, South America, Africa, if you're anywhere in all the continents, let me sum that up before I start announcing every country. If you're on a continent, thank you for listening to the program. Thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for following us at the Live Morning Show on Twitter. Once again, we do the show every Tuesday, every Wednesday, 9 a.m. And, of course, we have special edition shows that we'll always announce. They're kind of like pop-up stores. They're pop-up shows. I'm also excited that the WWE Network has an original series, Goldberg. It's going to be part of their WWE 24. That's going to debut on November 13th on the network. I am excited about that. And not only that, we do have the audio from the trailer. And, of course, November 13th will be a Monday, so I'm sure it will debut immediately following Raw. And that's also part of the ratings. And, of course, he may show up, I assume. November Sweeps, ladies and gentlemen, is going on, and they're setting up beautifully, and it started tonight. Let's go ahead and listen to the audio for the trailer for the WWE 24 Goldberg.
My days at WWE didn't end in storybook fashion. I never envisioned that I would be stepping back in the ring. It's so much pressure. This might be my last shot. I need to look at my wife and my son and see that they're proud of me. You know, you question yourself at this stage of my life, my ability to pull this off.
He put the pressure on himself. Every second it was going to be perfect.
We wanted to see Goldberg back in the ring.
And this last time was different. The desire to his son and his wife to see him in the ring. It was a different Goldberg.
For the one time in my career, this ain't about me.
I'm excited. That was just posted yesterday late, and that's available if you want to see the audio. Audio is not that striking, but yes, the audio you just listened to, the video aspect, is on WWE on their YouTube channel. They got phenomenal content on their YouTube channel, by the way. So I'm excited to see that. This November will be shaping up beautifully, I believe. And of course, it's very important for television ratings with the November sweeps. Not only that, they're going into, more importantly, there's going to be a time where they're going to be pushing a lot of new product. Black Friday, Cyber Monday just around the corner. So when do you get excited about the product? When the product is actually looking good. When I mean product, I mean the actual storylines. I mean the actual shows. I mean the actual pay-per-view events. So when those are going great, and there always are in November, what are you doing? You're thinking about this as you make your purchases for Christmas or the holidays. It's that simple. It's not rocket science. There's a strategic order. Now, what the summer brought us is sometimes the summer was a lull. It brought us surprises and shock and awe. It was headlined by Jinder Mahal. I also think one of the great things to come out of the summer was the rise of Alexa Bliss. The summer was different. You may not have agreed with it, but it was different. Now, another great video on the WWE YouTube channel is entitled Kurt Angle Cries Before His Emotional In-Ring Return at WWE TLC. That happened yesterday in the afternoon or so, and that's actually enjoyable to watch. I also mentioned through tweets last night, just that is what a pop deserves to be. Now, of course, that's 20 years in the making that we have fallen in love with Kurt Angle, and he deserves a pop. He probably even deserves a bigger pop. It just reminds me of that Attitude Era where 5, 6, 7, 10 guys deep would get that same reaction every single night. I even mentioned, I hope that our current star someday will get that same reaction. We'll get a little bit with AJ. We're definitely getting it right now with The Shield. Definitely getting with Kevin Owens. But for the most part, that's it. Good or bad, we always get a reaction from John Cena. So check out that pretty good video. It's about 5 minutes long on the WWE YouTube channel. Well, one thing that normally we would start our program with this Tuesday would be talking about a pay-per-view. But we didn't. We talked about something that was a little bit more important. That was the Raw. I did do a post-show, and that post-show is probably the shortest post-show I've ever done, only because there really was nothing to talk about, because it was a less than satisfactory pay-per-view, really. We had the dark match with Sasha and Alicia, and once again, I've already talked about Alicia Fox and her abilities. Asuka versus Emma. There was no way Asuka was going to job to Emma. We even had a relatively boring tag match in the Cruiserweight division. Normally getting a couple good spots we could all enjoy, but Cedric and Rich Swann, they actually defeated Jack Gallagher and Brian Kendrick. We had Alexa versus Mickie James. I tell you what, the match actually took about 11 minutes. And it was pretty good. And just, Mickie James, 38 years old, still doing it, still phenomenal. Inside the ring could be as good as anybody. Definitely on both brands. I mentioned this. I hope the storyline continues. But Alexa defeats Mickie James. Pretty solid match. Enzo defeats Kalisto. This is about an 8-minute match. Kind of had a feeling that Enzo was going to go in there and defeat Kalisto. Just makes more sense for the brand. As you, this is obviously, we all know this, but of course AJ Styles was brought in, and he took on Finn Balor. This was the Demon Finn Balor. And this was a great match. This was obviously the second longest match of the night. A little over 18 minutes. And it was pure wrestling. It was fun. Balor defeats AJ Styles clean. There's no point for AJ to really go over in this. He's not even part of the Raw brand. Not only that, it's AJ Styles. The first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the greatest of all time. Maybe the best wrestler in the world right now. He was literally doing a job. Doing a job. Doing the right thing. So throughout the events that occurred last night, a match was just added because of Jason Jordan coming out and taunting and throwing vegetables and fruits at Elias. So as Jason actually beats Elias. Okay, now the match we actually care about. The return of Kurt Angle. Kurt, Dean, Seth. Kurt actually comes out dressed as a member of the Shield. A little hokey. The only reason I didn't flip out was because, you know, this was a 5-on-3 handicap. It wasn't like a solo situation. They're taking on the Miz, Cesaro, Sheamus, Braun, and Kane. Probably the highlight for me, besides the fact that Braun Strowman took probably about 15 chairs that were pulled from the sky from Kane. That was pretty awesome itself. Obviously, Kurt had to be carried out, and then he comes back, his music hits, the place explodes. We knew it was going to happen, but it felt like the old days. Can I say that? Yeah, it felt great. Now, the offense by Kurt, you can't tell if he had ring rust or not. This was not really, there was really no wrestling that occurred. It seemed like people were lost in this match. It seemed like it was a cluster. I wasn't really happy with it. I mean, all these individuals are studs. Don't get me wrong. They're all stars. Some of them are superstars. I was hoping a little one-on-one action with Kurt Angle and Cesaro. We saw a couple movesets by Kurt look good. Was I expecting too much? No, of course not. It's Kurt Angle. We're talking about 2 years ago. He was wrestling almost on a full-time basis. Now, I can't blame Kurt Angle by no means, just having him there. I also talked about this was kind of a ruined opportunity for a pop, a build, to market, to glorify his return. That never happened. That was literally upsetting for me. Where I understand they needed to do something. Roman Reigns, arguably their biggest star, maybe from either brand, was out. This buildup of Sister Abigail, which I was falling in love with, so was everybody else. Bray Wyatt was out. Let's go to Pure Wrestling. They bring in AJ Styles. People are definitely going to watch. Who do they replace Roman Reigns with? It was Kurt Angle. No build-up, no nothing, just happened. I am a firm believer that this was technically, Kurt was going to come back for Survivor Series, even though I thought maybe a KO versus Shane team, of course. Now I've been illuminated where it could be Kurt versus Shane, or Kurt's team, which would be Raw, versus Shane's team of SmackDown. So he came a little bit early. Happens to everybody. But I was hoping for maybe a little surprise. They could have done it a little differently. Kurt comes out and says, I have found your partner to take Roman's spot. The place would have exploded if it was him. Or we don't know who it was. Then we hear Kurt Angle's music. And then we wait a while. Then he comes out dressed as the Shield. There's an element of storytelling, of shock, of awe, of tapping to the emotion. They really did not do that with this. But yes, once again, I'm not diminishing it. We all popped when we heard Kurt Angle was coming back. We all got excited. But was this the best possible scenario to bring him back? No, it was not. That's my own opinion. You have questions about that? You want to debate that? Let's do it. 844-627-3352. Follow us at Live Morning Show for more discussion. We're talking about everything right now. Talking about a Raw that should have been a boring episode because usually we have redundant rematches, but it wasn't. It was fun. It made us think. We're also talking a little bit about TLC. Talk about whatever you guys want to talk about right here on the Wrestling Morning Show. Now, in hero fashion to make everybody feel good, Kurt Angle, Dean, and Seth, they get the victory. Also, possible feuds that have occurred between Braun and Kane. That should be interesting. The big loser in this is Curtis Axel. They were in his hometown. Kind of felt bad for that. Love to see Curtis Axel. We do this every single Tuesday, every single Wednesday at 9 a.m. It's the Wrestling Morning Show. Now, anytime we go off the air and you guys want to leave comments, tweets, messages, voicemails, the number is 844-627-3352. Even though the show goes off the air, you can still leave whatever comments and concerns. And of course, we always live tweet during SmackDown and Raw. So we'll definitely be talking tonight to a lot of you guys who are out there. Tell you what, a lot of people last night were on. They were on Twitter. It was fun. And we're going to do it again. And also, if we're lucky, on tomorrow's show, the return of the Code Break. We'll find out what Brett Coder is doing, by the way. Or you guys should follow him. Code Rock 874. I want to thank Broadcast Row, the network that provides this show. Everybody behind the scenes at the Wrestling Morning Show. I want to thank the fans that I meet on Twitter that are super cool. We love talking about wrestling. So tomorrow, 9 a.m., we're back together. I'm excited. I'm excited for SmackDown tonight. Kevin's Heaven, Sami Zayn, and of course, how will Raw retaliate? Don't forget to go on Twitter at the Wrestling Morning Show. We have a lot of poll questions out there, so please answer those, and we'll discuss them tomorrow on the program. We'll also get in depth with specific situations that are going on in Raw and SmackDown, and of course, foreshadowing Survivor Series on tomorrow's program. I want to thank everybody who joined us today, everybody listening around the country and around the world. Be good.